Guys, today I am back to film my Pan That Palette update. So this last month went pretty well. I didn't hit some of the goals I wanted to, but I did do a couple of things that I am glad that happened, kind of. I'll explain. So this is what my Naked palette currently looks like. So as you can see, I didn't finish another shadow this month, but I do now have pan showing on every shadow I have left. So in my opinion, that's still a pretty big goal. Just because I didn't think that was really going to happen so soon, but I'll kind of explain. So I really wanted to finish Dark Horse this month, but I just kind of quit using it. I kind of quit using it to focus on some of the other shadows, so it just didn't get as much use, but I did use up this little bit of a side that I had over here. So that is what it looks like now. I don't know, I don't think it'll take too long to finish, just because this side right here is pretty thin, so it's really just finishing up the two ends, and then the side I think will be pretty easy to finish. But I don't know for sure if I want to focus on finishing that one just yet, because even though I really like this shadow, I do kind of want to focus on some of the other ones I think are going to be a little bit harder to finish on time. So next being Toasted, and Toasted is one of the shadows I am actually kind of worried about finishing on time. It took me no time at all to hit pan on it. But it's very full down here on this end of the shadow, so I'm kind of afraid by how long this is going to take since it is really full down here, but we'll just kind of see. I did wear this one quite a lot. I've worn it to the point where I'm actually kind of sick of it already, which kind of sucks because obviously I have a ton of it left, so it's still going to take some time, but it's one of the ones I'm worried about, so I think I'm going to kind of focus on this next month. And my goal is to have kind of, about the amount of pan showing on Dark Horse, and to have this shadow kind of just be overall thinner. So I'd love to finish it, but I just really am hoping for some good progress with it this next month. Next is Hustle. And Hustle, kind of same thing. I want basically to try to get the whole middle of the pan like showing, and just have the sides and then the two ends kind of showing, or to work on. But I don't know, this one too, I've got a lot more pan showing than last time. Last time it was just a little sliver. And I did manage to get quite a bit more showing, and I always pair it with Toasted, but I don't know. I think it's going to take a little while. I'm a little worried about this one, but not too much. For some reason, it seems like any shadow that I use with a fluffier brush, it seems like it goes a little faster. I don't know if that's the case with everyone. But for me, I don't know, that just seems like because I use a fluffier brush, this does go a little faster. Plus I kind of layer it on, so that kind of helps use it up a little bit. But I just really want to have almost the whole middle of the pan kind of showing, and then just have the edges to kind of work on. So next is Creep, and as you can see I have pan showing on Creep. And you might be able to kind of tell right in here how very like smooth looking this is. I don't know what's going on, but the top layer of my Creep is fine. It's a normal shadow, but once I kind of work my way down, it like gets hard pan really easy. So I don't know, it's kind of got some hard pan going on. I'm gonna have to kind of work at that. But I have been using this a lot to set my liner, and I think I realized that the brush I was using, I just wasn't seeing any progress with. So I switched to a, more pencil brush style. The one I was using before, I don't really know how to explain it, but it was just kind of almost like a square brush a little bit, and I don't know, it just wasn't really seeing any progress with it. Now that I've been using a pencil brush and it's a little bit fluffier and stuff, I seem to be getting more progress. Also, it kind of makes my lash line a little bit smokier and softer using it with a pencil brush, whereas like I said, that square brush, it applies pretty precisely. So I would just end up looking like I had just applied liner. It didn't really look like anything different. So I have been kind of enjoying applying with a pencil brush to get the softer, kind of smokier look. But I am going to have to use something, I think maybe just a little bit stiffer to kind of work on that hard pan, because that's just a pain. But this is the other shadow I'm kind of worried about. I think that with 3 months left though, and just to keep layering it over eyeliner will be kind of a good thing. The only thing that kind of worries me is that in my Project Pan I have the Sabbath liner, which is a navy blue. And this is kind of more of a, I don't know, it's almost just a really dark gray, but it is kind of black. So I don't really know if I want to layer those two together because I like Sabbath because it's such a pretty navy blue. So I don't know how that's going to go because I do kind of need to work on both of them. And I might layer them sometimes. Sabbath is such a pretty navy blue. I hate to just cover it up with black shadow. But since this last month I was wearing a ton of black eyeliner because I was trying to declutter some eyeliners. So if you've watched my eyeliner declutter video, you kind of already know I have a ton. And I did manage to finish 2. So that's why I used a ton of Creep, because I was using a ton of black eyeliner. So yeah, I'm a little nervous about this one, but I do want to keep it, you know, kind of at the top of my priority list because I'm worried about finishing it. And then lastly is Gunmetal. Gunmetal is like my proud achievement this month just because I did manage to finish up this end. I have like a tiny little bit in the corner that you can kind of see, but yeah, that won't take 2 seconds to finish. But the whole shadow is actually pretty thin besides like up here at the top, but otherwise it's really thin right in here. So I'm kind of excited because I just feel like this might be the shadow I finish next month if I focus on it. It's just going really well. I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but I've been pairing it with my MAC eyeshadow in Naked Lunch. And Naked Lunch is a lot like Sin. It's maybe not as shimmery or as creamy as Sin is, but it's the same color. So I am going to be backing to MAC this, but I'm going to wait until I finish up this palette because I do like to pair this with some of the shadows in here. I actually like pairing this one with Toasted as well. I like to do this on the inner half of my lid, then Toasted on the outer half, and then I'll do kind of Hustle in the crease outer V. So I do like to pair this with some of the shadows in here, so I do kind of just want to keep it as long as I have this palette. But I've been pairing this with Gunmetal, and it's very similar to using Sin and Gunmetal together, which I really like. I've just kind of switched again. Instead of pairing Gunmetal with like bronzy shadows, I've been kind of pairing it with this, but that's kind of just been this last week. Otherwise, I was pairing it with Cognac from my MAC Warm Eyes set, which is then kind of gives you the more bronzy kind of taupey look. So anyways, that's kind of where that's at. I am really hoping to finish that by next update. I think that's going to be my goal, is to finish Gunmetal and then to get quite a bit more significant progress with pretty much everything except for maybe Dark Horse, because Dark Horse won't take too long. But I really want to see more progress with these two because these are the two that are scaring me. Of course, if I use Toasted, I'm going to use Hustle, so there is going to be more progress with Hustle, of course, but I just really want to see some more progress. I'm not happy, I guess, like I really wanted to finish another shadow, but I'm really not disappointed either, just because I feel like I'm on a good path to finishing everything on time. So I'm a little nervous just because, you know, that's still 5 shadows left, 3 months to go, but I wear multiple shadows at a time, so it'll be okay. Next is my MAC Warm Eyes. And I finished Cognac. If you guys saw my Project Pan update, I did finish Cognac, and most of that was just pairing it with Gunmetal. But I did pair it quite a bit with Sketch too. I just kind of did equal parts of that, I guess. But as you can see now, Sketch has quite a bit of pan showing. Sketch has been going really fast too, so that's kind of good, because as a whole this shadow is pretty thin besides like the edges. The edges kind of come up, up to the top kind of, but otherwise like all this down in here is pretty kind of thin. So it really doesn't take too much longer to like hit more pan with this just because it's thin. But I want to keep this going. I really want to finish this by the end of next month or by the end of November. So that is really my goal with this one, is to finish it soon because I'm kind of over it. But I know several people have posted tutorials using Sketch like all over the lid and that kind of thing, and I typically just use it like in my crease and stuff. The other thing I've been doing is, instead of using black from like, Naked palette, using Creep to like darken up your outer V and to just add like a little bit of dimension, if it's a really warm look, I will take a little bit of Sketch and I actually use that in my outer V just to darken it up a little bit. So that has been going faster too, because I've been using it to kind of, add some dimension and darken some of my eyeshadow looks up, which kind of brings me back to this for a quick second. Creep. couple years ago, actually quite a while ago, Makeup by Tiffany D posted like it's like a Megan Fox dramatic liner look, and I've been wearing that a ton. Every time I do it, I use Creep, so I've been like wearing a lot of Creep when I do use it too, because I kind of, with the look, I kind of, you know, I apply some and I start lighter, and then I just kind of build it up and get darker with it as I go. So I have been using a lot of Creep for that as well, because I did do that look 3 or 4 times this last month. So I use quite a bit of Creep when I do that look as well. Lastly is my Anastasia Catwalk palette. This is going to be my Pan That palette for next year, but I just wanted to kind of give it a quick look. I do want to finish 2 shadows out of this, but that is for my Project Pan. So I'm kind of focusing on these 2. Everything else though, I mean, it has a little bit of a dip, or it's kind of, you know, like this black has like no dip at all. But I mean, some of them, like this copper shade, this brown one has a slight dip. The gold one down here has a little bit of a dip. The pink is showing pan. So, I mean, it's got some use and some progress, so I feel like that'll be pretty good for next year. Because I don't want to finish the palette this year, because then I won't have anything to pan next year. That, and I don't want to stress myself out with trying to finish this by the end of the year. So that is it. But I am pretty happy with my progress. I feel like the end is really near with Project Pan and with Pan That palette. I just feel like I can finally see the end. Of course, I'm still a little worried about this because, like I said, 5 shadows, 3 months. It's kind of nerve-wracking. But I feel like Toasted and Hustle I'm going to finish very close to kind of at the same time. If I don't even, I might finish Hustle first. Gunmetal's going really well. Dark Horse I don't think will take long. So it's really just kind of Creep and Toasted I'm a little nervous about. But I think it'll be okay. Just fingers crossed for next month. So anyways, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm going to go try to watch some of your guys' Pan That palettes, because I kind of need some more motivation, I think. So in those videos, your guys' videos always kind of help me get more motivation to really buckle down on my palettes. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!